Hey, everybody, this is Lee Strauss with Spaced Out Radio and Element 115. Unfortunately, Jackie will not be joining us today, but, she gives us her well wishes and all of that. She's dealing with the fires down there. Thankfully, she's out of the way of all of that and far enough east where she's not dealing with it directly, which is a good thing. But we do want to, pray for all those that are dealing with that right now, definitely. And we're going to go ahead and start kicking off the show here with heavy hearts, but we will continue on and persevere. So I want to welcome Kira I Am to the show. Welcome. And let's see, we got Kitty Cat Quack in the house. Welcome. Frankie B's here. We got Deidre C. We got Frankie B. If I couldn't make that perfect any other way, but it's rhyming, so we're going to go with it. All right, we got Jay Truth Seeker, and we got Tim James. We got Michelle B is here as well. Welcome. We got them keep popping in. We got Lee the Bee here as well. Welcome, guys. And Jenny Mari, thank you for joining us tonight. And yeah. I got to figure something out special for your name. Anyway, we got Eternity Eternal, and we got Mel WD40 coming in. Cosmic Joe Chronicles. Welcome, everybody. As you all keep piling in here, it's 8 o'clock. It's time to get this show started. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have got Shane Gorrell stepping into the hot seat. And I'm excited for this because this guy, he has done a lot of things in his life. Let me tell you, I was talking to him, before the show, and he's telling me about all the crazy, cool stuff that he has been involved with. And tonight we're going to talk about the exploration of lost and forgotten civilizations in the Americas. So that is super cool. Not only that, he has been to Blind Frog Ranch. He has been doing research on Bigfoot and all this other stuff. So we're going to have him back. We can't just have him for one show. This guy's too darn cool. Anyway, I'm going to get the intro popping, and then we're going to welcome him to the show. All right, so just hold on 1 second, and I'll get it going. All right, guys, you know what day it is today. It is Friday. That means we've got Element 115 in the house with Lee Strauss. Rhyming stuff a whole lot this evening. Anyway, I am so excited for tonight's show. We got Deb from SAC that just popped in. We got, wow, you know, I said Cosmic Joe already. We got Joe Truth Seeker. We got JMJ12. We got Mel WD40. We got Jenny Mari. We got Michelle. We got Frankie B. Deidre C. There it is again. The Ryman. As well as our very own Tim James is in the house moderating. So that's fantastic. And I know that, okay, we got Brian WC in too, just coming on in. They're just popping in pretty quick. Thank you for joining us. Let's go ahead and get going here with Shane Gorrell. Okay, let me just give you a little bit of heads up with this guy. So he owns an exploration company, okay? Archangel Exploration LLC. He's researching lost and forgotten civilizations in the Americas. Anyway, we're going to bring him on, and he's going to tell us all about the Aztecs, possibly going as far north as the Grand Canyon. Welcome, Shane.
Hey, Lee, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, and I'm so freaking glad to have you on.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. First of all, before we get into the whole story, because I don't want to lay out all the goods early on in the show, I would like you to tell us how you got started doing what you do.
You know, it goes way back. I grew up in Washington State in a small town called Chehalis, and my mom passed away when I was 16, and my dad sent me to Alaska that same week. He put me on the ferry in Bellingham and sent me to Alaska to work in a cannery. He said he got me a job, and I got there. The cannery was closed, and I took a job working on the fishing boat, and a couple ladies taught me how to fish, and it was their boat, and then they introduced me to a man that owned a big seafood company called Trident Seafoods, and I stayed working for Trident Seafoods for 17 years. He actually paid for my college, the owner did, and when I wasn't fishing, I had a lot of time on my hands, and I made good money fishing. Like, I was a commercial crab fisherman, and I worked on tender boats sometimes in the summer, and the rest of the time I would go out and go exploring, and I became a treasure hunter. Some friends of mine in Alaska gold panned, so I'd go gold panning with them, and then I'd go down to Northern California, gold pan the American River, and I lived in Redding for a while doing that. And I'd fly back and forth to Alaska, and all over the place, just researching. And one of my friends said, well, if you're a gold panner, he said, why don't you start researching treasures and become a treasure hunter? He said, there's a lot of treasures out there that haven't been found, and you're pretty good at finding gold, so maybe you should look into researching a treasure. And I loved reading. I was a fisherman back in the 90s, and we didn't have the internet, and so I popped open the treasure hunting books and I'd read them, and then I planned some big adventure somewhere, and I went all over Utah, through the Uintas. I went to through the Superstition Mountains and Lake Powell, and down in California, deep in the desert. And I was just a young guy and kind of dumb, like I had a Volkswagen Baja. I thought, I'll never break down in that thing, and I'd go way out in the middle of the desert and looking for treasure. And it took me years. I couldn't find anything. And then I didn't start actually finding real treasure until about 4 years ago. And I'm 53 years old. So I spent most of my life looking and never found anything.
Wow. That's pretty amazing that you go that long. But you know, sometimes it takes a while to get your name out there and get familiar with certain people so that you can learn certain things, you know, because a lot of people just want to keep that stuff secret to themselves. And
Yeah.
until they really build up a relationship with you and start to trust
Mhm.
you and that sort of thing, you know, I think
Yeah.
that would go along and
Mhm.
foster, you know, over time a good relationship with people. And
Yeah, and you have to sit and kind of ponder to yourself. Like I had camper vans over the years, and I would just sit and think about, okay, all these treasure hunters, millions of treasure hunters, got their gold pan or their gold dredge, and they're dredging creeks, and they never really find real treasure, like Aztec treasure. And I wondered why. I wondered, am I searching the right location? I know Arizona used to be Mexico. And I thought, okay, it used to be Mexico. Did they make it this far north? And
yeah,
I didn't really I didn't feel comfortable going down into Mexico researching, uh, going out into the hills of Mexico, you know, or going down to
yeah.
Guatemala and looking for ruins or treasure. So I just had to really think outside the box and
Mhm.
think differently.
Right,
Mhm.
right. Now, I've noticed that you had a couple pictures before of just like the map, the stone map. Can you
Mhm.
tell us what that's about?
Yeah, the Peralta stones uh, are stone maps that were found in the Superstition Mountains, and each stone has an engraving on the stone, and and some people believe it's a map to a treasure, and other people think they're fake. Um, myself, I thought it was a treasure map, but I thought I thought it was a map that actually led you to um, a different kind of treasure, not necessarily um, Aztec treasure, but after I started to decipher them, I figured it would lead me to something um, more profound.
Like the Ark of the Covenant, possibly, or
Yeah, the Ark of the Covenant.
so there's a lot of theories about where the Ark of the Covenant is put to rest.
True. Yeah. Scott Wolter from America Unearthed believed the Knights Templar brought the Ark into the New World to hide it. Um, I think Scott was right, and I think they knew where they were going. And I also believe the Knights Templar were teaching Christianity to the Aztecs. And because if you look at the Aztec like their dresses, I call them costumes, but their dresses, they have crosses all over their dresses, and and on their headdresses, there's crosses, Christianity crosses, or crosses. Um, and it made me wonder why do they have crosses on their dresses? And then when I started finding Knights Templar carvings and carvings of the Knights Templar with what appeared to be Aztec in nature, I thought, okay, maybe they were teaching Christianity to the Aztecs.
Yeah, yeah. I've often wondered how far north they've come. Do you think that they've come all the way up into, let's say, maybe Oregon or Montana, or has
Yeah,
it pretty much?
definitely. They were definitely in Montana and Colorado. I would have to say they were probably in Oregon. I know they were in Northern California. I've looked at some carvings in Northern California in Trinidad. There's some carvings, and that someone called me and wanted me to come research. And then in Colorado, where the Continental Divide is, and there's a lot of carvings there. There were trade routes that went all through um, the states, and we're talking 3,000 years ago. And the boats they would have used were small, really small, and made of grass like hay. And there would have been a guy on both sides of a creek pulling the boat along with whatever they have had to trade with or their food and supplies.
Just to let you know, people are asking how they can get in contact with you already. We'll talk about that at the end of the show, just so that everybody can get your contact information if they would wish to talk with you after the show, or through email or whatever the case may be. But okay. So you say that you've seen like Aztec carvings in stone along with Templar carvings in stone.
That's right. Yeah, I've seen the Aztec and the Templar carvings of them working together, carrying something together.
Now,
what's that?
As far as the Templars are concerned, was that like the Jesuits? How did that all work?
The Jesuit priests. The Templar during the Crusade, some people believe they had the Ark of the Covenant, and they had to get away, because they were being hunted by Rome for practicing witchcraft, is what they thought. And I thought, if they lived with the Aztec, they would have had to live like them, which could have easily been portrayed as witchcraft. And I think that's what really was happening. And so they, packed up as much gold as they could carry, and probably the Ark of the Covenant and other relics. And they took off, and they knew where they were going. They had to go somewhere safe where they would be protected. And if they were already teaching the Aztecs and living with them and like them, I think that's where they would have went. And knowing that 20,000 strong would have protected them.
Yeah.
They were teaching, they were teaching them about their God. And that's what I believe. I think I can prove it. But that's going down a whole nother road.
Yeah. Well, I know that you've got a book out there. I don't know, if it talks about that in the book that you have already made.
Yeah. I published 2 books.
Okay.
One I'm not able to sell anymore. I had it on the market, and I know I didn't go over this with you, but the FBI said I couldn't sell it. They took it off the market, took it away from my publisher, and said it was borderline truth. And and I said, which part? But pretty much, but pretty much, and that's what we just talked about, is where it was right along those lines. And so the second book, it's called The Peralta Stones Treasure Map, Deciphered. Yeah. And it just talks about how I deciphered the Peralta stones, and showing the stone, and then showing my decipher. And like the witch casting spells is actually a shadow on a wall. It's about 200 feet tall, and it's a warlock. He has a really sharp, long beard, and there's a little boy standing next to him holding a Knights Templar flag. And then the warlock throwing the spells, and on the Peralta stone you can see the spells. And one of the spells is a little circle with a dot, and that means God. And then there's a cross, and there's a bunch of little symbols, and you can see each symbol on the wall. And I'm pretty sure that's the right decipher.
Wow.
And so I put a picture of that in the book.
I know, I've heard that the Jesuits took the Aztec gold and melted it down and made coins and hid these coins in the Superstition Mountains somewhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories. I met the Jesuits. The Jesuits still go into the Superstition Mountains every year. I met them 3 years ago at the Lost Dutchman Museum, and they go out. They pick a trail. They go out on the trail, and they look for something. They don't know. No one really knows why they're there, but it's like they're looking for something. And I'm thinking, maybe they're looking for the Ark. Maybe they're looking for more gold. Yes, I believe probably have found gold and melted it down, and maybe they've hid treasure out there. Um, Maybe a long time ago, though. It wasn't
Right.
recent.
Right. That's correct.
Yeah. Um, I yeah. I personally found gold out there, and I hired a law firm in Phoenix. He actually got me my LLC, and I legally claimed the 63-pound nugget that I found.
What, 63-pound nugget? Are
That's
you
right.
kidding me?
I'm serious. Yeah.
Holy cow. Well,
Yeah.
63-pound nugget has to be like this.
It's not very big. Yeah.
Yeah.
It had quartz in it. It had a face carved in it. The face looked like a monkey, which told me he
Oh,
was probably, the monkey god, right? Aztec. It was
yeah.
24 karat gold. There was some, other minerals in there, but it's only about the size of a cantaloupe. I have a photo of me holding it like this. Uh, I can send that to you.
Oh, well, yeah, we'll have to do that after the show, but wow, I would
But,
love to see that. Holy cow. That's
but
amazing.
there's bigger nuggets out there than that.
And do you think most of those nuggets were captured from the Aztecs and then brought to the Superstition Mountains? I mean, how did they get there? Were the Jesuits involved? I mean,
how deep down the rabbit hole do you want me to go right now?
Let's go deep, brother. Let's go.
Do you?
I'm ready.
Okay. So I look back at my wife to see if she's listening. So my wife doesn't believe in aliens, but I'm gonna go deep in the alien world right now for you. So I discovered something in those mountains. There's gonna be some people that don't like this. I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna tell the truth. I found these giant hooks on the side of the mountain, and they're 20 feet tall. They're massive hooks, and some of the hooks actually have an object attached to them, and some of the hooks don't, and they open and they close. Just like a massive hook.
Right.
And and I believe it's a UFO that's attached to them. Now, between the hooks, there's gold. And and it looks like yeah.
I'm thinking back to the Nazi bell right now. You're talking about these hooks holding a UFO, maybe with some chains and this sort of thing. And that reminds me of the Nazi bell.
Okay.
Would you imagine it would be similar to that?
Definitely similar to that for sure. Yep. And it's interesting. So right between the hooks, there's a diamond shape. My second book, the Peralta Stone book. If you look it up, you'll see a heart shape. It's a heart stone with a giant diamond of gold in the middle of it, and it's about, I think it's around 20,000 pounds of gold. And there's some writing on it, and I tried to decipher the writing, and there was no known dialect. But it took a couple years for me to figure out what that really was. The diamond is actually like a door, like a swivel door. And on each side of the heart, there's these hooks. So a craft would land on those hooks, and then there's a door under the craft, and the swivel door would open up, and then they would enter into the mountain.
Okay. So
and then they would link up to that gold, maybe for a computer or some kind of, maybe charging. I don't know what. I haven't gone that far yet, but there's a lot of them out there. And I found one that has a craft on it, and it's not that hard to get to. And actually, I posted on my Facebook this morning. So sometimes it has this craft on it that has two discs. It's a disc, and then this little line-like thing, and a smaller disc. And you can see the hole. It's a really ornate doorway and this massive cavern that goes into this mountain. Okay. And it's just covering it. And then I have other photos from months before with a different object on that hole. So that's when it gets really interesting. It makes you want to get out there and put some game cameras up or something.
Yeah, I just need a little clarification on that, just a little bit. So are we talking about like a carving on a rock is what you're looking at, right? Okay.
No, it's actually a craft hanging on a hooks. And then you can kind of see off to the side a hole that goes back into the mountain.
Okay.
Can you see that?
I'm trying to, in my mind, I'm trying to
get it in
my mind's eye.
Yeah, all right. I thought you pulled up my Facebook.
Oh, no,
I have it on there for public view.
That would distract me because I'm trying to also read all of the comments over here on the side as well. But yeah,
but to get that, yeah,
that's astonishing.
Yeah, so there's I've had some close encounters with the reptilian race in the superstitions.
Okay.
And so I believe that's who it is. You know, and you don't want to get caught out there near them, anywhere near them. They move a lot quicker than we do, and when you see them, if you ever see them, they're like a blur. That's how fast they are. Just a blur, boom, gone. And but I was flying my paramotor, and I was flying up through above Peralta Road in the superstitions. And I flew up the canyon, and then I wanted to go back down another canyon where Gold Canyon is near the hydroglyph trail. And so I pulled hard on my brakes and pulled hard on my left brake so I could swing my paramotor around and dive into the canyon. And when I did that, I saw a group of them. They're right there, standing pretty high up on a rock ledge, and they're looking at me. And I swear, they look like dinosaurs.
Wow.
They're humanoid, and they have this like leather vests on, and then they had this round thing on their chest. It looked like a piece of glass or something. But I was shooting. I had my GoPro Black with me, so I got some good video of that. And then
I'm sorry to stop you here, but we have a question. Do you think the military was involved whatsoever with creating these doorways, or do you actually think it was these entities, these aliens?
Yeah, it was definitely the aliens. I don't think the military even know they're there, to tell you the truth. Okay. That's the scary side for me sharing all this stuff is I really don't think they even know.
Yeah, yeah.
I see the black helicopters flying back and forth, but I don't think they do. I don't think they know. I think people, I think the common person, we think that we're the biggest and baddest thing out there, and I think most people don't believe in aliens, and I think most people wouldn't believe a story like this even, and I don't blame them.
Right.
It took me a long time to really take it in. I saw the hook. The first thing I saw was a hook. And then I saw the hook open one day, and I was like, what in the world what is that thing? And then I saw a long bar going to a cog, and the cog turning one day. There was really low clouds. And then I could still see I had a spotting scope, 85 millimeter, the biggest spotting scope you can buy. And I was watching that cog turn.
Interesting.
And I thought, oh my gosh, no one's gonna believe me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
but you've got a lot of pictures on your Facebook page.
Yeah, I do.
Stuff.
But I just share it because I think people need to know, you know. I mean, whatever's going on, it's active and it's happening right now.
Right.
And we don't even know. People go missing all the time out in those mountains, and no one knows what happens to them. And I can tell you right now, I bet you anything they're in one of those mountains. And who do you tell? Who do you tell? You can't just. I know the police chief of Apache Junction. I told him, I said I found 7 doors into the mountain. 7 doors with locks on them, and they look like like a that you would see on a on a boat or a ship. They have locks on top, and the locks are like 4 feet long, and the doors are like 20 feet tall. You know,
do they have like the rivets in them and all of the whole thing, or
you don't see any rivets. It looks like a rock, and they're kind of round on top, and they're ancient. But you can see the latch. It's a swivel latch, and you can see where it locks in. You know, and you can see the hinges, and you can see the door, like it's not a doorknob, but it's like it looks like a piece of metal that's long and flat, and then it has two holes in it, like two long fingers would slide in and open it up. And all the doors are like that. 2 fingers would slide in and open it. And so it tells me it's definitely an alien race style door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or a giant, maybe the giants. I know giants were real out there. I've discovered 2 skulls.
The Nephilim?
Maybe the Nephilim. You know, I really don't know. I would say the giants carved the mountains for sure. I found some of their carving tools. They're really super long. I found one that kind of looks like a can opener for snapping rock. I found one that looks like a pick with a giant hammer.
Yeah.
And they're just leaning on a random rock.
Well, we're getting into our second half hour. Do we want to? You want us to show some of the pictures of the things that you've shared with me?
Yeah, let's go through that.
Okay, hold on. Let me bring it over. Okay, I'm going to bring up the bear. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, it's actually too big for the page.
Maybe you can slide it down to where you can see the face.
I can't actually. It's kind of stuck where it's at.
Okay.
Let's go to this one here, and we'll put ourselves behind here.
Okay.
Let's see. So, what are we looking at?
So that's in the Grand Canyon. I heard stories of pyramids in the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
And I lived in Alaska at the time. I was living in Homer, Alaska, and I flew paramotor. So I had a 20-meter wing and a 40-meter wing, a trike, and I was flying a Monster 185. And I thought, well, when I get down to Arizona, I want to go fly through the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Well, so I flew from Anchorage, Alaska down to Salt Lake City, and I bought a van from an LDS member, and sight unseen, he picked me up at the airport. I paid $900 for this little Dodge Caravan. He said it ran great, so I took his word for it. And all I had was my paramotor. I had 3 big boxes, so I took the seats out of the back of the van and gave them to a thrift store. I don't remember, Goodwill or something. And had my paramotor in the back. I stopped at the thrift store to buy a sleeping bag and blankets, and so I could sleep in the back of it. And then I drove down the highway. I got to the North Rim, and I put my wing out, stretched it out, and got it all rigged up, and put my trike together, and people were lining up all around me. They said, "Are you gonna fly the Grand Canyon?" I said, "Yep." And
nice.
And then they're like, "You're crazy." I'm like, "Yeah, a little bit." And they said, "Are people going to show up and meet you here and fly with you?" And I said, "Nope, just me." And they're like, "What happens if you crash or something?" I said, "Then I'll be down there somewhere." And they're like, "Oh my God, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's not safe." I said, "I know, but I'm still doing it."
Yeah.
I said, "Tomorrow morning, I'm going to fly out, and I have 7 gallons of fuel. That's good for about 7 hours of flight." And so I flew with my 40-meter wing. So could use less fuel, and there was a little bit of a headwind. And my main objective that day was flying around a mountain called Mount Isis.
ISIS.
I wondered why the government named it Mount Isis.
There you go.
And because Isis was an Egyptian god, right? So
yeah.
And I heard stories with Kincaid, the explorer that claims he found an Egyptian tomb in the Grand Canyon, and I wanted to know if the stories were real. And and me, I'm an explorer. I have to see it, to believe it. So I pulled out my 40-meter wing and flew right over the side of the canyon, and it didn't take long to get to Mount Isis, and I flew around it. Sure enough, it's a temple. I wouldn't call it a pyramid. Pyramids, 4 sides and are pretty high, right? Steep with staircase all the way up. But this is more like a really long temple, about 5 miles long. I would say probably thousands of people could have easily lived in there.
5 miles long.
Yeah, about 5 miles long. And it was really, it looked like a mountain on the front side with a doorway. And you can actually see it. If you look at that photo, the temple is right behind. You can see my name, Archangel Exploration, and the temple is right below that. And the door, it's probably cropped out or something. The door is on the top left. And right next to it is a petroglyph of a duck, and that tells me it was Egyptian. Although the carving appears to be a turtle, I think it could be a bird of prey.
Okay.
With the wings fast back.
Yeah.
And in the wing, you can kind of see they put charcoal in the wing to show the definition. That's still. It's about 500 feet up. So we're talking, it was carved when the water levels were higher, maybe 10,000 years ago. So, they would have had no way to get there unless it was alien related, which you never know. I would say definitely the Egyptians were in the Grand Canyon. There's carvings and there's a sphinx on the left side of Mount Isis. There's a sphinx, and you could tell that someone shot at it with some kind of high-powered I wouldn't say rifle, like maybe a gun of some kind.
Okay.
Trying to destroy it.
Okay.
There is doorways all the way down the side of the temple.
Is this part of the Grand Canyon that's been blocked off? Because I know there are some areas you can't go into in the Grand Canyon that the government keeps people out of.
At the time I didn't know. I came down from Alaska. And I was in the parking lot. There was no signs anywhere in the parking lot that says you can't fly drone, you can't fly. No signs anywhere. I still haven't seen a sign anywhere in any mountain range, even in the superstitions. There's no signs that say you can't fly a paramotor, and tons of people flying paramotor, and people even base jumping and squirrel shooting off the superstitions. So even though they say it's illegal, I knew all the rangers in the superstitions, and they were fine with me flying paramotor. Now in the Grand Canyon, when I came back out, someone had called me in.
Oh boy!
When I landed, there was a ranger, and she said, "If I ever catch you flying again, I'm gonna have to call the authorities."
Really?
And she said it's a federal offense, but she let me go because it was Christmas morning.
Wow! So was it because you were flying paramotor, or was it because of where you were flying at?
Where I was flying at, restricted area.
Wow! Wow. So,
And I had no idea.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
But now I know why.
Yeah, exactly. If somebody was to go to Google Earth and look up this location on Google Earth, would they be able to see a pretty good, you know, landmark or something that might look like a temple or something there?
Yeah, if you get, get a big screen though, the smaller the screen, you're gonna have a hard time making things out. You get a big screen or blow up on your big flat screen TV, and then and zoom in and then tilt it a little bit, tilt it back a little bit. You should be able to make out the doorways. You should be able to maybe even see some ancient alien technology.
Okay, so what was the name of the mountain again?
Mount Isis.
Okay, I'm going to write that down because you know what I'm doing this weekend.
That's an easy one to remember. That's an easy one to remember. But and then this pillar where you see the bird head or
here,
turtle.
Flip that back for everybody to see here. Okay. Yes.
You might be able to see things like that all the way around Mount Isis. There's an animal like that on a pillar, and there's even an octopus on one. So, and then if you look right behind it on the right side, it's kind of disc shaped, and it has carvings in that disc shape down there below the rock formation that's right behind the bird.
Okay.
It's hard to make out, but if you blow up really big, you'll be able to see the formations on that disc shape right there. But all the way around, there's pillars, and there's carvings on top of each pillar.
That's amazing.
There's when I was flying back to the parking lot on the wall, if I was like 300 yards away from the wall, I could see carvings along the wall. The closer I got, the carvings got more distorted. So if someone flew a drone or something, you might not see them unless that drone was high up. Made me wonder why those carvings were on that wall so high up. If the people were so low in the canyon, just didn't make any sense to me.
They're meant to be seen from the sky, is what it tells me.
Yeah, you're onto something right there.
Yeah,
that's definitely
what it sounds like.
Yeah, and there's a woman with a headdress and with bright green eyes, look like emeralds in her eyes.
And another rock formation.
Yeah, rock formation that's carved into the wall on the north wall.
I'm wondering about a lot of these formations. It seems to me like you would come across something like this in the Grand Canyon or the Superstition Mountains, and the natives or whoever back then just would take advantage of what was already there and try to sculpt it a little bit more so that it was recognizable as an animal or something else. Is that the case, or do you think that
I have a little experience with that, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been attacked by the Apache and natives in the Superstition area quite a bit, actually. I understand, their heritage. They want to protect their heritage. What's out there, though, the carvings are Aztecan. There's Knights Templar. I haven't seen any that were actually Apache carvings. They'll portray them as their own. But if depending on how deep you dive into it, you'll see that they're Aztecan and a lot older than a few hundred years.
Right. There's a lot of talk about possible, curses and this sort of thing out there in the Superstition Mountains. And we had talked earlier briefly today, and I had mentioned that, and you had said that you don't believe in the curses. What is happening to people?
I don't believe in the curses. Yeah, I don't believe in the curses. I believe, there are definitely some bad people that go out there and probably shoot people. I've been shot at myself. I had a really scary shooting, and I was just driving my camper van down Peralta Road, and this guy was leaning over a white Jeep. I didn't see him right away. My windows were down, and I had passed his viewpoint, and I heard two bullets fly in front of my face. It was like choo choo, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm lucky to be alive, And I turned back, and I could see him laying over his white Jeep. It looked like maybe a brand new, maybe a rental Jeep or something. And he had a high-powered rifle, and he was shooting at me. And
Oh.
What do you do? I'm heading towards the mountain on a old dusty dirt road. And there's people everywhere.
Yeah,
I got this psychopath shooting at you.
So I'm wondering if he must have known that what you were doing out there.
You never know. You never know. Yeah, I don't let fear like that hold me back. I live my life, and you know what I mean. I've been shot at flying paramotor too, and I actually ended up putting a stainless steel belly on my paramotor, and to ricochet the bullets if I get shot. When I get shot at.
You're kidding me. Holy smokes.
I carry an AR, and it shoots 227.
Yeah,
and,
I was thinking we call them on the show. We call them pointy sticks.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. So
that's all good, brother.
Yeah, but I'm packing really heavy when I go out there. Red laser dot, and because I've had some close encounters with mostly crazy people, but I would say the biggest problem out there in those mountains would be, and I believe this wholeheartedly, there are reptilian humanoids out there that are hungry. And I think they eat people. And I had a close encounter camping. I was camping. I had a Suzuki SUV, and I had a makeshift bed in the back of it. So when I was like way out in the middle of nowhere, I could just sleep back there. And I was off Highway 88, Superstitions. I was just right off the highway in a gravel area, and sometimes the sheriff parked there, so I felt safe, And I'm sleeping back there. I always slept with my pointy thing.
Your pointy stick. Yeah.
Pointy stick. So I was sleeping with it, and I heard the bushes move. And I don't know if you've seen the bushes out there. They're like 12 feet tall. And and I heard them move. It was like, and I had a back window. The back passenger window was broken because someone broke in and stole all my camera equipment. And so it was busted out, but I had plexiglass and it was taped on, but down on the low side there was a gap. So I heard the bushes move. It woke me up. It was like 3:30 in the morning. I'm just laying there holding on, onto my treasure. and I hear this voice, and it said, "Should I grab him?" And the other one said, "No, we need a dog." And it sounded like they kind of had a hiss when they were talking, like if a snake spoke English, And I just was kind of frozen right there. I didn't move, and I could hear them shuffling around on the gravel right next to my car. And then next thing you know, the bushes shook again. And I was like, "Oh my God, I think they were gonna try to grab me." And and I heard them talking right next to my car. And I always think about that. I think, "Oh, whoa, I had a close encounter with reptilians looking for food." And so I started researching how many dogs go missing.
Yeah.
And we're talking a lot of dogs go missing in that area.
Interesting.
Hundreds of dogs go missing every year. So I'm thinking, maybe they're not wanting to take a person, to draw attention to themselves.
There you go. Yeah. So,
So
yeah,
if they
dogs
take
are,
a dog, it's no big deal. You know, coyotes got them. You know,
or that, yeah, isn't there like antelope or mountain goat out there too?
there's goats. There's no antelope out there that I've seen. There's deer, goats, javelina. Uh, there's lions and bobcat, and oh yeah, longhorn
Okay.
sheep.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, longhorn.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe they have a taste for dogs or something. I don't know, but
You know, anything but the dogs and the cats. Come on, leave our pets alone. We don't need this.
yeah.
You know?
But there was a disappearance like 3 years ago. An old man and his son or grandson, I'm sorry, and they walked off the trail. The story I heard, they walked off the trail. The grandpa went back to the car to get his cameras or something, and he went back, and the grandson was gone. The grandson, I think, was like 17 years old, but and they've never found him.
Really?
And
Now
you
you're going to
know,
make me want to do some research on my own here to see. So I've got the
you know,
ISIS
you're
mountain.
welcome to come down. You're welcome to
Yeah.
come down. I told
I
Terry,
don't want to go where you're going. I can tell you right now, being around you, I'm gonna get shot at, and I don't need that at all. I don't care how many pointy sticks we have.
yeah.
I don't need that at all.
No, I won't go to where I know that, you know, that kind of activity's there.
Oof.
But yeah, I told Terry Carter if he came down, I'd show him one of those doors, and
Yeah.
it's right off the road. I mean, hidden in plain sight.
Well, you know, if people go to your page, they can see a lot of these pictures
Yeah.
that you have. In fact, you know, in a much better quality that I'm able to show here on this screen, actually. So I would invite everybody to do that, because I raffled through some of your stuff earlier today, and I was like, wow, you got a lot of stuff, a lot of photos and of, you know, these petroglyphs and rock formations and that sort of stuff on your page. So
how about the temple? I sent you a picture of the temple. It has a sphinx on it. Has windows down the side.
Let me see if we can get that one up here.
Yeah, I found several temples.
This one here. Let's see. Let's move out of the way.
Oh no, that's definitely interesting.
Yeah,
that's the one that has a face in it. They can't see that though.
No, it's horrible. The quality is so bad.
The face is a little bit higher.
Yeah, that's too bad. For some reason, it's not. And then it's cropping the photo too, which isn't good.
Can you put another one on there that I sent you?
This one here.
Yeah, that's a Roman helmet.
Here, let me try to get out of the way.
Yeah, it's laying sideways. The broom part is on.
I see it
on the right side.
Yeah, I see it.
That's in the superstitions.
Wow. And is it like a petrified thing, or is it still metal?
It's still metal, but I think it's gold. And it has a lion's on the side of it. It has a lion's face.
Oh wow! Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, a little bit to the left, you can see teeth.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. But like I said, people should go to your page and look at that stuff, because they're going to get a better quality than what I can show you here.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So the bear one that you were showing, that was the bear had solid gold eyes the size of semi-truck tires.
Holy cow. So that picture of that, it looks smaller, but you're saying that the eyes were the size of semi-truck tires.
The bear is 50 feet tall, and it's a red sandstone.
Yeah.
I discovered that. I was in shock when I saw it. The mouth is open and it's kind of heart-shaped. At first, I thought that was the heart stone I was looking for on the Peralta stones, but it wasn't. I actually found the heart stone, and it's it looks like King Montezuma, and he's standing there, or he's kind of kneeling, I guess, but you can see his headdress, and he's holding a heart shape in his hands like this, and it's
Wow.
about 200 feet tall, and the
Wow.
heart is like just dripping in gold.
Interesting. Why haven't people just, vandalized these things to get the gold from
they don't
them?
know where they are.
Ah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so I've been we're going back down there, and we're going to hire a law firm. I've already talked to the Parks Department about a treasure trove permit, so I'm going to secure a treasure trove permit, and that in an area that I discovered. It's a little ways away from the superstitions, but it's where I believe the Aztec were, and there's quite a bit of gold.
Wow.
Yeah, like boulders of gold.
Interesting. I mean, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, there's a carving of a monkey face that's on this little hillside, and it has boulders of gold in the face underneath the eyes. And the boulders, like one boulder is the size of a Tesla.
Wow. Yeah. It's amazing to me that nobody has got a hold of this stuff, and
right.
And you found most of this stuff because you were using your not paraglider,
paramotor.
Your paramotor.
Yeah, some things I found with my paramotor, you can't see gold with a paramotor. All the gold is covered in like, I would say, like hardened mud. So maybe like there was a flood of some kind, and mud came in and covered everything. So if you don't know what you're looking for, and you're not sure of the designs you're looking for, you probably won't see anything. But me, I've been researching my whole life, and I know the designs and the areas, and I've researched, like I said, trade routes. I've researched water levels. When I thought maybe they were in Arizona and Utah, where Arizona was Mexico. So it doesn't take long to research some of the history books to see that the Aztecs went north.
Right.
But no one really knows how far north they went. A lot of people believe they went into Utah and up into the Uinta Mountains, which I believe they probably did. They probably mined up there. But where was their home? Their home area, and that's the area I believe I found.
Gotcha.
So in real life, it would be called the Montezuma Lost City of Gold. But it's going to take lawyers and investors and a lot of time.
So we're going to have to get through here and talk about where people can contact you and that sort of thing, because we're getting short on time.
Yeah. I mainly like researching the Knights Templar in the New World,
though. And so where can people pick up your book?
You can pick it up on Amazon.
Okay.
Amazon's the cheapest place to pick it up. And the Peralta Stones treasure map deciphered.
Gotcha.
And then I have an ebook as well on Amazon. You can just type in my name, Shane Gorrell, on Amazon. And my ebook is The Lost Dutchman's Treasure, Story of Truth.
Gotcha. And if people want to get a hold of you, they can get a hold of you how?
Through Facebook is the best way. Just under my name, Shane Gorrell. You'll see a picture of me out hiking. You'll probably see a picture of the bear with the gold eyes.
Yeah, I did see that there. It was pretty awesome. Yeah. I hope everybody can go and visit. And I'd like to get you on with Dave Scott sometime here in the future. So we'll be trying to do that.
Okay. And I can come back on with you and maybe, talk about a specific interest that people are interested in.
Oh yeah, and I want to get you back on for Bigfoot too, because you've
Yeah.
done some of that yourself, and
Yep.
definitely want to.
And I'd like to get you in the field. Maybe we could do a live in the field.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, Shane. I'm going to actually put you back in the green room. If you'd hold out while I hit my intro, I'll get back to you in a minute.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching.
All right, everybody. That was awesome. 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 Thank you all for joining us tonight at Element 115 and Spaced Out Radio. Dave Scott will be up next, so join him. That should be pretty awesome. Pretty awesome show with Dave. And I should be on later. See y'all.